Good morning, everybody, from the Georgia Piedmont. It is an absolutely immaculate February day today. We got nice cloud cover, overnight lows in the high 50s, low 60s, and a daytime high today of around 72 degrees. Absolutely beautiful weather to be kind of traversing this rather hostile terrain. It's just very steep, so covering ground here takes a lot of energy, and as a result, finding snakes takes a lot of energy. So best time to do it is on days like today where it's cool but not cold, so snakes should be out and I should be able to hike this terrain without dying. So today's spot has a little bit of an upland and a lowland component, so if we aren't able to find anything up here in the kind of ridgetop habitat, we will go down towards the creek and the swampier stuff where we should at least be able to get into some amphibians. All right, there's our third snake of the day. The first two got away. It's a Midland water snake just chilling on the bank. He already sees us, so I don't think we're gonna be able to get any closer, but there we go. First snake we've gotten video of. It is warm enough today that a lot of the snakes are gonna be wary and flighty. Looks like a pretty healthy, good looking snake though. I'll see if I can just get a little bit closer. You guys can see him better. There we go. All right, we'll leave that one right there, I guess. First Midland water snake of the year, I believe. Evidence of reptilian life. Nice little green anole out running around. We'll look at the habitat we're in right now. Very snaky looking, not very snaky. All right, guys, well, the easier, flatter, lowland portion of the hike has come to an end, and now it's time to take the ridge tops back to the car. This is a lot less snaky habitat, so I don't really have much in the way of expectations on the way back to the car, but it does just feel so nice out here. I feel like we could find something at any minute. And sure enough, there we go. First in-hand snake of the day, a beautiful corn snake. Look at that. So this is only the second corn I've found in habitat here, actually maybe third. One was in shed, and two of the three that I've seen have been very dark like this. I mean, look at all the black coloration on that guy's face. Really, really unusual, but a very nice look. Good looking snake for sure. This is another addition to the list of very healthy snakes we've seen early this year. Almost looks like this thing has eaten something too, or is possibly already gravid. I'm gonna get a couple wide angles with this nice open habitat in the background, and then we'll move on. But very nice way to highlight the day if we don't see anything else. Gorgeous corn. All right, here's one more look at this beauty in the sun before we put him back. Sun's peeking through the clouds a little bit, which I don't think is a good thing because of how hot it feels already, but seeing as it's February, I don't think we have to actually worry about it getting too hot for snakes, just too hot for me to be comfortable climbing these hills. Here you go, bud. Back to your stump. Well, there were two of them, but one of them dipped, but there we have it. First Webster Salamander of the year. I'm sure we're gonna see more. These guys are pretty range restricted, but they do tend to be pretty common in the places they do occur. Like I said, there were two under this rock, but one of them dipped. Oh, baby king. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. What? Holy crap. Oh my God, that thing's amazing. Man, we went from the coldest winter I can remember to the earliest Piedmont king snake I can remember. I mean, it's been a while since I found one in February. It is insane how nice this snake is. This is the same spot where I found my favorite king snake I think I've ever found, at least my favorite non-completely aberrant king snake, and I'll attach a photo of that snake. It's likely this snake's mom, or at least distantly related to it. I found that snake 2 times within a few feet of where we are right now and nowhere else, so very cool. This is only the second king I've ever found at this particular 10 spot too. All right, let's get a look at this guy. Oh my goodness. Holy crap. Look at that belly. Man, he's just absolutely twitching us. Holy cow. That is so pretty. Beautiful little king. Only the second in-hand snake of the day. First of which was a corn. That is so adorable. This is really not often we get to see kings this size in the spring. I mean, he has not grown too much since hatching. Definitely had a meal or two in the fall because he doesn't look like he's in rough shape or anything. He's just a little bit small. And of course, this guy could double or triple his size in 2025 alone if he has a good year. So what a way to end the day. And we still have a little bit of tin to flip. Breeze is really picking up and making it feel a little bit nasty this afternoon, but the tin is still warm, so hopefully that'll mean that snakes will be under it. If it's good enough for this guy, I don't see why it wouldn't be good enough for other snakes. So we'll put this guy back under his tin and keep flipping. But either way, darkness is going to be falling and ending our day relatively soon. Once again, quality over quantity. I'm not complaining about it. It's just kind of odd. I don't know if you guys can hear the frogs calling in the background, but listening to that while looking at a king snake, it's got to be about the best way to end a day possible. There you go. He's going under the leaf litter and then under the tin. Interesting decision. There he goes. All right. Well, everyone, on that note, I think I'm probably going to call it a day. Definitely big quality over quantity type day once again, but that's fine. I do have to make the decision about where I want to go tomorrow because I think, once again, I'm going to have to choose between quantity or quality. And I'm kind of leaning towards quantity because we have had a lot of quality this year, but we just haven't had a day where we absolutely cleaned up on numbers yet. So I might end up going somewhere more snaky tomorrow rather than trying to find rare snakes. But I'm going to think on it a little bit longer, and either way, I will see you guys in the morning. Good morning, everybody from Metro Atlanta. Yesterday, we got skunked, but it's not the end of the world because we've got at least one more day of nice weather today before things cool off a little bit again. We're going to try to take advantage of the nice weather today and find some cottonmouths, including checking up on the cottonmouth den for the first time in 2025. So let's get to it. So last time I was out here, I noticed there's a lot of nice looking stump holes in the woods around the cottonmouth den. Starting off the day checking stumps, hoping to find some other cottons that I haven't seen before. There's something so exciting to me about looking for new dens in the early spring like this. Like, every one of these trees with a big hole at the bottom like this could potentially be a cottonmouth den. And it's more of a question of what's going on underground that we can't see that actually determines whether or not they like it. All right, we have reptilian life. There's a green and old there. And there's another one right there, center of the screen. These guys are still chilly, but they're definitely basking. And both sitting very exposed. We are on den approach and I see a nice pile of snakes. At least 3. I almost waited till later to come, but I'm kind of glad I didn't because these guys are sitting in such exposed spots. I feel like if there's any others out, they should be pretty obvious. I'm gonna get a photo and then we'll get closer. Oh man, it's beautiful. We got piles of cottonmouths, calling frogs. What more could you ask for? I'm gonna try to get closer. All right, so the one that was sitting with this guy went in that big hole right there. But this guy has a terrible eye. I think these are both snakes we saw earlier this year. I also just noticed there's a bullfrog sitting right there. But this guy has definitely noticed me puffed up a little bit. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave and I'm gonna come back at the very end of the day and see if there's more snakes out here. Either way, nice to see 3 dudes hanging out today. One of which was shyer than the other 2. This one is beautiful. Look at that nice olive coloration on the side. Just another look at this bullfrog, just chilling. Hey buddy, a little rattling. Definitely a little disgruntled. Okay. Incredible. It's a very aggressive dive into the least cottonmouth sized hole over there. I mean, that seems like a bigger hole, more logical choice. This guy just doesn't even care, probably because he's about to lose an eyeball. All right, guys, so some variation of those same cottonmouths has been sitting there since pretty much November, so cool to see them, but we kind of knew they were going to be there on a day as nice as today, and honestly, I was hoping there would be more, considering we got 3 at another den. I think it was probably in the last episode. But yeah, I'm going to spend the rest of the day looking for new dens in this same area that I haven't found before. Basically just wandering around, likely looking stuff, hoping to see some. And then at the end of the day, we'll circle back and see if any more snakes have come out at that same spot. Oh man, look at this. Just a big old rock pile in the woods. Rocks are real small though, so might not be enough structure for a real den. Looks snaky though. Look at that hole. All right, we've reached our next spot. It looks pretty promising. I've only been here in the summertime though, so I don't know what to expect. There's a lot of rock to check, and hopefully we'll at least see a few snakes. I know it seems like this was pretty easy, but this is probably, not even joking, like the 20th or 30th rock pile I've found since we saw the Cottonmouths earlier. And finally, we have another new den. Only one snake that I see hanging out at this one, but there could be more I just haven't spotted yet. Very nice. Definitely seems like the snakes have not been tricked by this early spring for the most part. They're sticking close to their holes. We can assume that that hole right behind this guy is where he has been spending the winter, but I'm excited to continue scouring this rock pile. It's pretty expansive, and I think there's a good chance we see at least a few more snakes. Let's find out. All right, I gotta start my long walk back towards where we're parked so we can head to the next spot, but a lot of good habitat between here and there. Hopefully we'll see at least a few salamanders, maybe another snake or two. We have surprisingly our first salamander of the day, a nice marbled salamander. Very, very pretty contrasty individual. Just found this pretty dude sitting out. This is a southern leopard frog. You can tell it's a male because his floppy vocal sac sitting there. He's been calling. These guys have a really quiet, kind of snory call, kind of similar to a lot of other ranids, despite how common they can be. Not really something we see too often. All right, just flipped an upland chorus frog. Lots of these guys calling today. This is the first one we've actually seen. They're surprisingly difficult to actually find when they're calling during the daytime, just because of how small they are, and they tend to get up under leaf litter and stuff. And here's another marbled salamander flip. Very, very few salamanders in this area for whatever reason. It looks way better for them than it has actually ended up being. Sure enough, right after I say that, literally the next log over has another one. These are pretty ideal logs though. They haven't been here super long. You can see there's still green grass under them. These guys are all over the place, and really the only way to spot them is to see them jump because they're so well camouflaged until they move. Little northern cricket frog. Here's another one. These guys are really not very common to see in the winter, even when it's warm, so it's kind of surprising how quickly they react to warm temperature in the spring. This one's a little more ornately patterned than the last. And here we have our first spotted salamander, way up away from the swamp, under a log. Very nice. All right, looks like just the same snakes out at that den that were out this morning. So I think we're probably gonna move on to a different patch of habitat and hope that the snakes are gonna be out there too. So I saw something move in the leaf litter next to this log, and I'm still not sure this is actually what I saw, but there is a brown snake. I think that is what I saw based on how fast it just moved. There's also a marbled featuring brown snake that is covering my camera. It's always cool when they flatten out in defense like that. You don't see it too often. Usually it's when they're on the road, but very nice. First brown snake of the day. Kind of surprised we haven't seen more, and I'm sure there's a good chance we'll see more. I guess all the salamanders are just chilling up here in the woods. There's another marbled. A ringneck. Hey, come here. There we go. These guys have been kind of surprisingly unabundant so far this year. Very nice. I'm gonna have to move this stack because this spot's about to get developed, but it's a bummer, but it happens in metro areas and even non-metro areas. You gotta adapt. All right, guys, we are currently on approach at a den that I have not seen any cottonmouths at this year. And I don't think it's because they're not here. I think it's just because I haven't been here on the right day when they've been out at this spot. So we're gonna see if there's any here today. And I got the GoPro running, so if I do see any, you guys will get to see me as I see them, hopefully. This is part of the den here. You can see there is no shortage of access to underground, but I usually see the snakes further that way for some reason. Where are they? There might just not be many spending the winter at this site this year. I don't know. I never see piles of them here, but it's almost always good for one. Point in fact, I might just be seeing the same snake every year, and it's actually not that good of a spot. It's just that one guy liked to hang out here. Yeah, looks like no snakes at this den today. Unless they're just ahead of us still. I mean, this is where they should be. You can see nice holes in the ground. Oh, there's one right there, down by the water. That's kind of weird. I wonder if I missed more that were closer to the water like that. All right, well, that was cool. We should be able to get pretty close to that guy too, since he's basking like a Nerodia. And for those of you who can't see him, he is right there. Well, I was not expecting that, but he just kind of flipped backwards off of this and into the creek and disappeared in the shallow water. I have no idea where he went. I mean, he's right here somewhere, but it's just murky enough that I can't see him. Well, it's nice to know I'm not crazy and this is actually a den with multiple snakes using it. But it is kind of a bummer to see one sitting here without a head. I'm guessing an otter did this. I guess it's possible it was a person, but otters and raccoons like to kill snakes, and they don't often eat them and make the best use of them when they do it. So definitely a bummer to see. Would have been a pretty snake to get alive. All right, GoPro'd back up for this last bit. I really am surprised to not see more snakes at this den. And I'm very bummed about the dead one. Oh, here's one. Down by the edge of the water. Definitely seems like they're kind of chilling closer to the water today. At least here. They're never super far from the water at this spot. I mean, the creek bank is pretty steep right here, so I assume that they are plenty far from the water just up here. There are a lot of anoles out basking this afternoon, but not as many snakes as I feel like there should be. All right, guys, I'm wrapping up the day back home. I flipped almost everything here without seeing any snakes, unfortunately, but I did want to show you guys this. Just because I thought it's kind of weird. These two ambistomids, one's a spotted and one's a marbled, have showed up under this piece of tin, and they both look kind of like salamander jerky. And they look a lot better now, but over the past couple weeks, they've just looked terrible. And I think part of the reason is they crawled through the salted road back when we had all that snow. A lot of the snow melted and a lot of the salt got washed away, but for salamanders, I mean, salt's one of the worst things they can come into contact with because it just dries out their skin. So I think these guys, they seem to be recovering. Hopefully they're not going to die, but I've never seen a salamander that I would describe as dry looking before. And then I found two under this piece of tin. But anyways, let me know if you have any opinions about that. I think it's very likely that these guys just crawled through salt, got a little dried out, and have been recovering under this piece of tin, which stays pretty moist. You can see there's a lot of moisture under here. But we'll cover these guys back up. They've been under here for a few weeks. This is just the first time I've actually gotten to show them. But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed. It's been a really fun week. I think this episode's gonna be kind of skewed, mostly common stuff, but our first Piedmont King of the year, beautiful corn snake, a lot of cottonmouths. Spring is undeniably here, but we're definitely gonna have some hiccups over the next few weeks as we move from February into March, which is really when things start to stabilize a bit. I'm sure we'll have at least one or two more freezes, but I'm not too concerned about it. Snakes are up, amphibians are breeding, and it feels great outside. I'm excited to see what the next few weeks have in store. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.